You are about to meet an imaginative realist, somebody that you really need to know. And she's going to show you something very special today. Welcome to Suzy Hart. Suzy, what are you going to do today?
Today I'm going to paint a painting in gray paint only. It's called a grisaille, and it's going to be a head study of a human head, maybe a hand. It's going to be a loose painterly study in gray tones.
Okay, so tell me why it's important to learn and understand grisaille or painting in gray tones.
Well, painting in gray tones cuts out the having to figure out what brightness a color is. Color is very complicated, and when you paint in grays, you can just work from the grayscale, from black all the way to white and everything in between, and create a sculptural form. So traditionally, studies in gray were done to learn how to do sculptural form.
Right. And then you, if you wanted to, you could add color on top of that.
Yes, yes. In fact, a lot of classical painters and Da Vinci and people often painted in gray and then glazed in their colors after.
Okay, really terrific. Okay, well, let's get right into it. I'm very anxious to see this, and I think you're the first to do this on this show.
Oh, yeah, I'm excited about it.
While you're moving your camera, I'm just going to say hi to everybody. And I'm Eric Rhoads, and this is day number 334. I publish Fine Art Connoisseur and Plein Air magazine, and we've been here ever since quarantine began way back 334 days ago. And the goal of this show is to just keep you upbeat, happy, feeling good about things, and not focusing on coronavirus and politics and all the other crazy stuff that's been going on in the world. So thank you for joining us today. We have prizes. If you are in the comments, you can win a prize. Today's prize will be an easel brush clip from easelbrushclip.com. You can see one on my easel back here. And the idea is that mine's got paint all over it, but the idea is that you put your brushes in it and you keep, you notice I have a lot of brushes, but the ones I'm using frequently, I just clip it on there at my easel so I can just grab them out, and I use it outdoors and indoors. So I'm going to give one of those away today. The winner of the book that I gave away, Make More Money Selling Your Art, is Jenny Ryan from North Carolina. Jenny, prepare to hit your goals. I'm just saying. All right. Now make sure you leave a comment, because we grab randomly from the comments, and also make sure that you tell us where you're from. That'd be really helpful. Okay, Suzy's got her screen up. Suzy, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, so I'm going to start with just some drawing elements, and I've done this study of this piece before, but I'm just going to sort of sketch in a pretty large basic form for where I'm going to place the head. And I often start by trying to
Can we see your reference photo real quickly?
Sure. This is a reference photo. And this is a piece I did from it a long time ago. And I want to study it again because there was a placement issue that was really interesting, and I wanted to try it again. So I'm not trying to copy this painting exactly. I'm just going to try to do a wash study and just have a little bit of fun and move paint around, because it's been a while, partly because of COVID and all of that, So
you're just using gray paint.
I'm just using gray paint. It's
and
very
it looks
thin.
Like you're slightly toned canvas.
On slightly toned canvas, and I've let paint drip down. When I toned it, because I like the textures that it makes on the canvas. And I'm going to just go ahead and put in some dark accents to know where I'm setting up my structure. Now, I could start this thinking as to get a likeness of the head, but right now I'm just wanting to sort of establish the what do you call in that Japanese way of doing notan, where you sort of think about your shadows first. And I want to play with drip paint a little bit today. So I'm going to let some paint come down and complicate the process a little bit. Now, to get into a little bit of drawing now, I want to think about where I'm placing the angle of the head. And for that, I usually look for the point between the eyebrows and the upper lip. So I'll take an angle and try to establish that. This will be the sort of the axis of the face, right? So even in 3 dimensions, this will sort of, if you were to do a CAT scan of a head, you know, you would see a sort of a, you know, layers. And that way I know that to sort of try to place my eyes on this axis here. And then the hand and nose are going to be in here somewhere.
All right.
So, okay. So, I like to paint, I like to do what's called scumbling with a brush. I sort of like to treat it like a drawing tool. Meaning as though it was a pencil.
If you're just tuning in, our guest is Suzy Hart. She's going to do a grayscale portrait study because grayscale helps you really learn your values, and you need values before you start adding color. And of course, once she's done with this, she could glaze it with color or add color on top.
Now I'm going to set myself an anchor here underneath the chin. I want that to get very nice and deep. And I kind of like doing this type of study because it's, I don't know, it harkens back to the Madonnas. And
are you using black paint?
I'm using a dark gray paint right now. It's pretty thin. And it's going to have a little time to dry as I work up the drawing. So when I go back into it, I should be able to lay in some bright lights. And I want to do a little bit of a strong shadow here. I should be able to lay light paint on top of that. And even if the paint is thin, we can work that up beautifully and have fun. Now I'm going to gray down. Now, I hope I'm not getting in the screen too much.
No, you're fine.
Oh, good. Okay, good. Now I'm going in with a lighter gray, and I want to use this to actually start to establish the light planes of the paint of the painting. And
now
as you see,
you have a lighter gray out on your palette, or did you mix it lighter?
I just mixed it. I
Okay.
have just a big wad of titanium white and a wad of what do you call Mars black. Mars black is kind of a cool white, you know. It's a cool black. It's I've got some ivory black too, but I don't know that I'm going to add a second gray in here.
Well, all the cool kids use cool black.
Yeah. I had not heard that, but I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. We're all cool kids watching today. We're all cool kids.
Now I'm going to give myself a key light here, and it's going to be in here, just so that we can start to see some form developing. That should start to pull that form forward in space. And
so that's also like an anchor, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, it's an anchor. And then I'm going to work on try to get a better angle on the nose because she's got a long aquiline nose. This is I took this borrowed this photograph from my son, who does these wonderful films, and he's got such a great dramatic narrative in his images that, and I think it's okay to steal from my son. At least I tell myself that.
As long as you have his permission, yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and place that finger, and I'm going to place it in light just because that's a place where I want the paint to stay clean enough to get a bright white.
So she's picking her nose.
Uh-huh. No, she's nervous. She's fearing something.
In case you missed the beginning, the reference photo is a little off to the right. Just you can see it slightly.
Yeah, I could drop it in here, but it's going to be in our way. I think when you are learning portraiture, especially, it's really important to try to work from life as much as you can, because your photograph works. Sometimes we have to work from photographs, but it's important to understand what you see in real life and know how to interpret photographs, which often will have just really awful light. And, you know, they're beautiful shots, they're great memory at the beach or somewhere. And, but the strong light, you sometimes have to make allowances and knock out things that you see that are just, don't serve the painting.
Now, if you were going to add, if you were going to do this where you started out with a underpainting and then you were going to paint over it with color, would you add white as early as you're adding, or would you find some other way to keep it light?
If I was doing a strict grisaille, like showing how a Da Vinci painting was done, for example, I would do a full grisaille, let it dry, and then glaze in some transparent glazes. However, I do love color, and I usually go right into color pretty soon. So I don't generally start my paintings with a grisaille. I just like to do this one that way, just because it's fun. Because for a short demo, I thought this would be fun.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
And then, you know, you can always suggest textures as you go. But I'm not sure that I'm making a knitted texture. So I'm just going to leave that where it was and come back here. Now, I sort of take from Ad Nerdrum that it's okay to use any tool you need to when you're painting, including a rag and wiping things away if they're not good, you know. And sometimes you might spend a whole day painting, and this maybe happens more to portraitists, but sometimes I'll find that I undo most of what I did one day, and then that's usually when I know that I'm getting close to done on a piece, when I have to start changing it that radically. Now I'm going to give myself another anchor. I don't encourage going into detail too soon, but since I kind of know where I'm going to be going here, I want to go ahead and place her eyes. And I've got I'm not really following my my drawing so much, I mean the picture. So what I'm going to try to do here is just anticipate that in the image the eye is tucked under in the shade, but I'm just going to create an orb for the eye socket. And we might even be able to change the direction of her gaze if we wanted to. That would be kind of
okay. There's a question in the comments section. It's, what is grisaille? Grisaille is simply gray. So if you're painting in a grisaille, you're painting in a gray. It could be any tone of gray. You could do a greenish gray or a reddish gray, but it's a gray.
Yeah.
Okay. Hello, Netherlands. Hello, British Columbia.
Wow.
Got people all over America. Hello, Ontario, Saskatoon, Windsor. If you're watching from another country, please tell us where you're watching from. We like to see that. Guatemala, welcome.
Mm-hmm. Now I'm going to cheat here. We don't see a highlight on her other eye, but I want it in there because I think it was because the piece has such a deep shade from the hat, and I'm going to pretend that hat is just a little further along, further back, so that we would get more of this shade. And I'm going to strengthen and reduce the brightness over here. Change the direction here.
Hello,
And then-
Malmesbury, England, India, another from India, UK, Derbyshire. Welcome. Bowen, British Columbia, Bowen Island. You're pulling them in today, Suzy. You're a rock star. It's fun to see this.
Thanks for the invitation. It's fun.
Johannesburg, South Africa.
Now, I studied with Frank Mason at the Art Students League, and he always
Oh my
said,
goodness, did you really? You're so lucky.
yeah, I know. And he always said, bring out your bigger brushes. Try to do everything you can with the biggest brushes in your toolbox. And you see, sometimes when you use a bigger brush, you stop thinking about details and you start to build a better form. Anyway, I was having fun dripping paint. I want to drip some more paint.
Calgary is in the house. Well, it's warm here in Texas again, folks. All the snow is gone. It's 70 degrees. It's beautiful, a normal day. My water is back on, but we do have broken pipes, including in the house. So we got a flood in a couple of rooms in the house. It was lovely.
You're in San Antonio, aren't you?
I'm in Austin, Texas.
Austin.
The new art capital of the world. Because I said so. We got a lot of good artists here. Are you using, Carlos is asking, are you using any turpentine? What are you using to get your paint thin?
I am using turpentine. Actually, no, today I'm using Gamsol. My studio is pretty big and airy. Normally, if I'm using this much wash, I should have a little ventilation. Or wear a good mask, a fumes mask, but I've even bought lead paint recently, which I shouldn't have done, but I did.
Well, I'm told it's fine if you use it carefully. You don't sand it. You don't eat when you're using it.
Don't put your brushes in your mouth. When I was a teenager, I used to put my brushes in my mouth. Yeah, that was stupid, but I don't do that anymore. I'm just going to add a little fluid here.
Hello, Italy. Suzy, where are you from? Where do you live?
I live in South Carolina, in the upstate, in a beautiful area near the mountains, and near the city of Greenville.
Okay.
And came from Canada. I was born in England and raised in, well, we came down here when I was 9, 1965. A little bit.
I just learned that a friend in Greenville just passed away this weekend.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a rough year for losses, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just lost a good dear friend very recently, and so this is nice because I need to get back in the studio and not think about, we're going to make it through everything. It's going to be better.
Absolutely. That's why we're here. Yeah. We're going to make it through together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I see someone whose name is Ugitsi, but it looks like a name from another place. Tell us, Ugitsi, where you're watching from. See Quebec. Welcome. Well, you have the world famous George Van Hook is watching, and he's telling you it's really nice. So
I think
no pressure.
No pressure at all.
Hello, Natalia from South Africa. Florida. Boy, that sounds, well, it sounded nice a week ago. 3 days ago. It was 7 below.
Is it cold in Florida now?
No. Well, I don't know. I'm not there, but no, but when it was 7 below here, it was very tempting. Another South Africa, Switzerland. Welcome.
Now I'm going to put in a little character here.
All right.
The thing the best thing I was ever told by one of my teachers was lines don't exist. Now that's really a tough thing to hear if you're a drafts person, you know. You don't want to think that lines don't exist. You depend on lines, you know, but what he said was that lines only exist where a dark meets a light or two different values meet. And it was really a useful thing to know. Took a little while.
We ought to write that down in the comments.
Yeah.
A lot of people watching from Florida, getting reports of 70, 65, 80. Tunisia is watching.
Oh, wow.
Suzy, you are pulling an international audience.
Oh, wow. Well, you get I think you have a following all over, Eric.
Well, it has nothing to do with me. They're not here to see me. They're here to see you. Give us some tips on painting eyes because they're so difficult to do.
Eyes, we could do a whole program on. Eyes, you want to, the best thing in painting, I think, is to think of the whole eye socket as being a three-dimensional form. And you can literally just make sure you place them carefully. And don't get too attached to the details, because if you get attached to details, you end up with just a problem trying to, you end up being too attached to the parts you've done. And next thing you know, you don't want to change that, even though they're positioned wrong, maybe. So it's important to just sort of get as much expression and structure before you tackle detail, and you may even find that in the long run, you don't even need the detail you thought you did.
I think eyes are like trees. You know, we have certain shapes in our mind that we tell ourselves exist. And, you know, almonds, you know, are the shapes so many people try to put for eyes. Nelson Shanks, the great Nelson Shanks, told me that eyes are always soft. He always paints them very, very soft. And when they're too sharp, they don't look right.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost as though you want to leave the viewer, this is true of smiles also, you want to leave the viewer with a little bit of room for imagination, in that there's movement, that there is that everything is not frozen. So that's like really, really important when you're doing portraits. It's just, you don't want to have something that is so crisp that because that's not how the eye sees. You know, the eye sees by looking all over the place. The eye is putting together, and when the eye is looking at something, it sees it's like an accumulation. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yep.
I'm in that stage of trying to think and paint at the same time, but I'm used to it, so I will try, because I know it's the other thing is to never rush, even if you're doing a demo. That part's a little harder. I want to put a little bit of light in the iris, and I'm not even sure I've got the eyes positioned where I want them, but it's okay. I'm just going to just lose that a little bit, come back to it. Because I'm a little bit at an angle here, so it's a little hard for, are you getting glare here?
No, not really. I know you are.
I am. So is that
Somebody
better? Is
asked
that
the
okay?
question, what do we mean by soft? Can you define that?
Yeah, I can actually show you. Soft is, get rid of all this detail, just soft, just smudge, lose it, lose the edges. Even lose the eye a little bit if you have to. You see that starts to disappear into this fog.
Kind of
And
brush,
I'm using,
what kind of brushes are you using?
well, right now I'm using a rosemary brush. This is a rosemary brush. I use silver. I use Lexington, Winsor Newton Lexington rounds. I love a lot. I just love new brushes, and and and
It's a
I
disease.
bought, this one came from the face convention. I think I bought these just recently, and I mean last year before you had to cancel the last convention. And I'm going to come up here now, look for the structure of her cheekbone, because as I got involved in the eyes, I stopped looking at my structure, the big forms. See, that's helping that eye find its place.
Yeah.
By getting the big forms and painting up to it. And
You mentioned the face convention. What was that experience like?
It was fantastic. I went to both, of course, the one in Miami and the one in Fredericksburg, and it was wonderful, and it was a really important little break that I took. I was caring for my mother, and I can't believe I did take the few days straight down and back up again. Well, the opposite way.
Hello, Dublin, and hello, Lebanon, and hello, Russia, minus 25.6 Fahrenheit here. So, wow.
The face convention was awesome. There was just such dynamic demos, and Patricia Watwood was there and gave it was just great. Now I'm going to come in here and just do a little bit of a crisping up of this structure right here, because I want that to be the bone. This is very, very steeply turned 3/4. But if I want structure, that's one place I can put it. If I don't want structure, I take another fresh brush and soften it just a little.
Hello, Flanders. Hello, Senegal, West Africa.
Wow.
Kind of fun, isn't it, Susie?
It is. It really is. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, would you guys do me a favor? If you're watching anywhere, no matter where you're watching, if you would help others see this, when you hit the share button, others will see it. It'll be a great opportunity for them. Maybe somebody will learn about painting for the first time. Hello, Slovenia. Highland Arts Gallery in Marble Falls. That's very close to me. Like 30 minutes.
Here, I'm just looking for the line of the bones and the edge here, the hand. And
hello, New Zealand.
wow. I'm just going to swash my brushes out a little bit. I know some painters have 3 brushes going for 3 different values going at once, but I forget which one I'm using. So I'm usually one of those who has to clean my brushes and start fresh quite often. And I always wear a glove in my left hand. I'm not wearing one today. I'm inhaling fumes and I'm not wearing gloves as I should be, but that's okay.
Yeah, I'll tell you
Mostly
what,
so
while
that
you're cleaning your brushes, Suzy, let me just play this real quickly, all right?
Sure.
Are you an artist who's trying to get to the next level? Learning to paint can be frustrating, and we've met artists who have attended lots of workshops and watched lots of videos, but feel they do not make fast enough progress. Don't feel badly. It's not you. You see, scientists have recently discovered that learning itself is a science. To learn better, instructors need to employ these new scientific discoveries. It turns out that the way you present information helps you retain more. The methods of teaching help things sink in. So instead of retaining 5 to 10%, you retain much more. Now the world has turned to Zoom teaching, which sometimes makes learning harder, thus compounding the problem of learning. At Streamline, we decided we needed to reinvent how we do things. So we studied these scientific learning methods. We interviewed top experts on learning, and we developed a system to help you learn better, faster, while retaining more. Introducing SOAR, Streamline Online Artist Revitalization. Our goal is to make online learning better and help you achieve rapid transformation. Best of all, it won't feel scientific. In fact, great teachers use these techniques and you don't even realize they're being used. Yet you tell yourself, that's a great teacher. And as you start painting, you realize just how much you retained. As a result, you'll transform your painting, and you'll do it faster. And the more you practice, the more ideas will positively impact your painting. You'll be painting better. You'll feel less frustrated. You'll retain more. You'll make faster progress. And you'll be much more satisfied with your painting. Streamline is introducing a series of SOAR workshops featuring top artists who'll be employing these learning techniques. These workshops will not only make you stronger, faster, they will also have new workshop features, like the ability to invest in a one-day pass, and private Facebook pages to communicate with the instructor and fellow students. And there are even follow-up sessions for 3 months following the workshop to reinforce certain concepts. Watch your email for upcoming SOAR workshops from Streamline.
Okay, we got Suzy Hart back. Suzy's doing a grayscale portrait. Thank you, Suzy. Hope your brushes got clean.
My brushes got clean and I did make a drawing adjustment. I hope nobody notices. I just needed to.
Well, the one thing that you can't do when you're doing it on camera like this is you need to be able to step back once in a while.
Well, that's true. But if I step back, my headphones will come unattached. So yeah. And since we're not going for a tight likeness, it's errors are fine. Yeah. I love the underpainting stage the best. You know, I just love the stage where you don't have too much in there yet except the values and it's loose. And then sometimes I have to keep painting and I regret the underpainting being gone.
I always paint this way when I do live models, which I do pre-COVID every Wednesday night in my studio. I've got a small group. We haven't painted now for a year. But I always start, I use typically a French umber as an underpainting. I tone my canvas and then I add my color later.
Yeah.
It just helps me because values are so difficult.
Yeah, that's why I like to tone also. I just don't, I have to get rid of all that bright canvas so that I can see where things need to be and choose. Now here I'm seeing a little bit of a cast shadow. I'm just going to wipe the brush and just lose that a little bit because even though I want that brightness there, I don't want it to be jumping. When I say jumping, I mean a point where there's just too much contrast or definition and where it spoils an effect. And I want to keep thinking about structure, you know, where the bones are. I just got my first real studio skeleton, Eric.
Oh, congratulations.
I'm so happy about it. I wanted one for such a long time, and a friend, Nico, gave me this wonderful skeleton that belonged to her dad, who passed
So it
away a
must be
few years
real.
ago. Well, no, it's not actually. It's just a good anatomical, the resin kind, not the plastic kind. Just
So I have a guy in my paint group on Wednesday nights, George, and George is a forensic artist, right? So he's the one that when they find a skeleton, he has to figure out what the person looked like. And
Yeah.
he walked in my studio the first week I got my my skeleton. He said, "That's an Asian skeleton." I mean,
Oh, wow.
in 2 seconds he knew, and then he explained the structure of the face and why it's different. So when you get skeletons, you got to get a lot of different ones to get practice in different styles.
Wow. Did you ever see, there was a wonderful movie, Gorky Park was a wonderful film years ago, which was, well, I don't know if it was a great film, but it had forensics like that, somebody that did the reconstruction, and by adding so much flesh on each part of the bone, and yeah, it was really interesting.
Well, now they do it all digitally. With they bring the skeleton in and do it digitally with with an iPad or something.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll reconstruct with clay. Mine is not a real skeleton. I don't want a real skeleton in my. I want to be respectful.
Yeah, I don't think I'd want a real one. This one looks really real though. The teeth are great. It's got like, I don't know. It's just I thought it was real at first, and then I realized no. It's just
I'm curious, Suzy, when coronavirus is all over and we can freely do anything, what's the first place you're going to travel to?
Wow.
If money were no object.
Oh, if money were no object, I'd love to go to Scotland. I'd like to go and see. I'd like to go to Scotland. I've always wanted to go to the Highlands. But really, the first trip I was planning was probably a face in Fredericksburg or Baltimore.
Oh, good.
I think that's really the only big plans I had. Oh gosh, I don't know, Eric. I haven't thought about that for a bit.
I'll be curious, the people in the audience, what's the first place you want to go when you're free? I'll just be curious. I want to go to New Zealand. I love New Zealand so much. My wife's not been there, and I've never been to Australia, so I want to do a New Zealand, Australia, but I don't know how I'm going to do my daily show and do all this travel that I need to do.
Yeah, you might have to just take a little sabbatical.
Now that, folks, that white is going to start to pop when she lays that gray in there. Hello, Sri Lanka. I'd like to go there. Amalfi Coast. I'd like to go there. Oh, these are places people want to go. All right. Venice, Ireland, Paris, Italy, Boca and Key West. My office is in Boca. Poland, Italy, Indianapolis to see my grandkids. Yay, that's a good one. New Zealand sounds good. Switzerland, Russia. My Russia trip sold out, although I lost one over the weekend because she had such water damage that she's freaking out a little bit, understandably. Scotland, Egypt. Well, India. I think we're just going to have to all go on a big worldwide trip together. Cuba, Croatia, Norway. Netherlands, Greece. Boy, I can, once you laid that color in, I can really see the nervousness because the hand is kind of defining that nervousness.
Yeah. Now you see, I'm having an instant regret for making a stroke, but it's not none of. One thing I'm trying to learn in my painting life is paintings are stages of unfinished paintings, and you always have to lose something to get to the next stage. And sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. But that it's I just really just want to wash that away.
All right.
And yeah, what are we doing for time, or does it matter? We'll just stop.
No,
at
it
the stop.
matters. You got about 15 minutes.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, I can get into a lot of trouble in 15 minutes. Okay, perfect.
Oh, you can get into a lot of trouble in 5 minutes.
Oh, I know.
Hey, I got a commission over the weekend.
Oh, yeah?
I got a commission for a 40 by 30-ish landscape.
Nice. What are you going to make it of? Is that a particular topic?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm working on a study behind me. It's a view from the top of a mountain looking down on these lakes.
Wow.
A guy on our lake commissioned it from me.
Now I'm trying to get myself into all kinds of trouble here, letting paint drip for a little while and seeing what it guides me to.
Well, the drip kind of creates a little bit of that terror.
Yeah. Yeah. And I will just probably take in some white now and thicken it up and just let it do something, give it a little bit more body in here. Yeah, even even doing studies like that, you always still have to think about anatomy, and so it's a fairly large head, so the skull goes all the way back to here. So I kind of want to suggest that it's going to go back that way and let that drip. Oh, I'm liking that. I'm liking parts of this.
Yeah, I am too.
I don't want to do too much with the hand. I just want to sort of indicate the structure just a little bit. I love doing hands. Hands are one of my favorite things to paint.
Are they? They really intimidate me.
Yeah, they are intimidating, but they're interesting always.
I think we had somebody on teaching us how to do hands. It was William Schneider, and you can find that in all the replays on YouTube. I just go to Streamline Art Video in YouTube, and what he basically said, which I knew instinctively, I just didn't want to believe it, is just squint down. It's just big shapes.
Yeah. It's always you just keep removing until you find the essence. And also getting the remembering the anatomy. That's another reason to look at bones, because when fingers are closed like that, you have a sort of a squarish shape at the top, right?
Yeah.
So that's really important. And I'm going to just suggest this other finger by just catching the light on it where it tucks behind here. And I need the right value. I need plenty of white, because I've got to fight all that gray paint that's coming down.
Just a sliver, that does it. That shows it.
Yeah. And might take this down just a little bit to square it off. There we go. Not too much. That's too much. Little adjustments.
Yeah. Do you have one of those little things you can wipe out paint?
You mean like a paper towel or a
Well, like
cloth
one of those
towel?
little squeegee, little shaper.
No, I've got some for pastels. But I'm just going to lose this in here and throw a little bit more light in here so that it's, because it's ambiguous what this, yeah, this ambiguous is like a, there's a double thing. We're going to lose that heaviness in here just a little bit. There we go.
It's really beautiful.
Thank you.
Somebody wants me to demo on day 365. I don't think you want to see me demo. Pretty scared.
Oh, when is day 365? Are you close
Well,
to it?
today's day 334.
Wow.
Do the math.
I think you should.
I don't know. I don't really want to talk about myself.
Well, you make us do it.
I know, but that's easier for me that way. You know, my job is to elevate other painters, not to elevate myself.
Yeah, one of the nicest things that's happened that COVID interrupted for me was just, taking part in face and track conferences and just getting to meet all these people that I've admired for so long. And it's just been a real treat. And I miss it.
Yeah. Well, we don't know. We still are scheduled to do the FACE conference in Williamsburg in November, but of course we don't know. We just had to cancel our May plein air convention because it just is a little too soon and people don't really know what the situation is going to be. The state can't give us an answer. So we decided to do plein air live early. We did it in July. We're doing it again. And I've got 2 or 3 major names to announce probably tomorrow or this week, definitely. And it's gonna, we're talking a major name that no one's never had a chance to see. So it's going to be cool.
Cool beans. And this is for the plein air.
For the plein air, yeah, which is basically, it's not just plein air, it's landscape.
Yeah, I used to love to study up on Frederick Church and how they would spend just literally years in the field, and come back and paint for months on these large paintings, like Heart of the Andes is one of my favorites. Cotopaxi.
I love those guys.
Yeah.
I went to his his house is a museum now. It's open.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And unfortunately, there's not a lot of original. It was a little bit of a disappointment, but the Olana is all original.
Yeah.
So
I think the Athenaeum in Hartford, Connecticut has a few church paintings. At least they did. I don't know if they still do.
I'm sure they do. What a great museum. Well, one thing nice about when this is all over, we can all go back to museums again.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Gosh.
It really influences my work.
Yeah.
So somebody wrote, "Hi, Histler fra Norge." I don't know what that means. Norge is probably Norway. Maybe somebody can translate in the comments. Nice thing about this, even if they can't understand our language, they can still watch the painting.
Yeah, this is true, right? I hadn't thought about that.
Hello from Denmark. All right. Suzy, you're getting a lot of positive comments. People love what you're doing. It really is coming together.
Thank you.
And that's no easy task in this short period of time, let alone doing it in front of thousands of people.
I know I'm going to collapse. Don't remind me about that part. I had succeeded in forgetting and just thinking about just painting. And yeah, a little bit of important breathing, deep breathing.
Yeah.
Before
Well, we
we
have
started.
by the end of a typical day, an average day, we have 10,500 views.
Wow.
That's an average day. We've had as high as 65,000. I just checked my YouTube channel. I got 6.5 million views on YouTube.
Wow.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
By the way, you guys, you can get, if you're tuning in for the first time, we've done this every day for 334 days times 2, because we do it at noon and then we do a art instruction video at 3. And all of them are on YouTube, but you got to go there and hit the subscribe button. All right. Also today at 3 o'clock, I should mention to you, our 3 o'clock art tutorial is the great Chuck Marshall, Simplifying for Success. He's going to show you how he painted this painting, which is hanging on my wall. And this is from the video. So that's today at 3 o'clock. Just where you're watching now is where you're going to see it then too.
I really am amazed at how prolific you've been with, in spite of COVID, with keeping these programs going. I'm really impressed. Some of us curled up into a ball and didn't come out for a while.
Yeah. Well, you know, it was for survival. But, you know, you do what you got to do.
Well, you got me painting. Like I said, I bought these brushes a while back and I get to break them out. So I'm really grateful.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well, it's important during these times. You know, a lot of these art supply companies are very small. Some of them are big, enormous corporations, but most of them are really small. And, you know, when people can't go into art stores, you know, they need people buying their products. So, you know, pick up the phone or get online and buy some stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so we're down to the last 2 or 3 minutes. Why don't we kind of stop here and then you can come back on camera. But everybody give her thumbs up and applause. Really nice job. Really nice.
Thank you. To come off camera, we'll put this over here. And
Oh, very nice. So, okay. Well, can you show us your studio at all, Suzy?
If you don't mind the camera shaking for a little bit.
I don't mind. Do you guys mind? No, wait a mind.
Do you have a minute to turn on, for me to turn on lights? And
yeah, sure. And I'm going to put you on full screen again.
Okay. Whoa, headphones.
Yep.
Headphones. Yeah, I just yanked the headphones.
That's
that
okay.
Wasn't straightforward as I thought. Okay.
Okay, we're about to get a studio tour here real quickly. You can see the little painting behind me. It's just a little study of the scene. When you do a commission, I'm going to do a little study to send to the purchaser. Hang on. Oh wow, that's a big place.
Yeah, 750 square feet of heaven. And
I love it.
I can't zoom in for you, but yep.
No, that's okay. That's terrific.
Yeah, 10-foot ceiling, which is great.
You're a sculptor as well.
Pardon me?
You're also a sculptor.
I am a sculptor. Yeah. This is I just bought some new clay. I've not used synthetic clay before, but I wanted something that I don't have to go get cast right away. And so I've got, this is kind of exciting. This is going back to my roots. I always thought I'd be a sculptor and ended up painting and drawing.
Great. Well, Suzy, this has been fabulous. It's really been wonderful. You blew us all away with that grisaille painting, and congratulations on that. That was really a nice job.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
I want to tell everybody that Suzy's got a website just right here at Suzy Hart. Hang on. Suzy, it's not showing up. There
Yeah,
it is, SuzyHart.com.
SUZY for our people further away. SUZYHART.com. Thank you.
All right, I have it on the screen too. All right, terrific. Well, Suzy, thank you for being on today. If you guys want to hang around for just a second, I'd appreciate it. Suzy, you did a great job.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thumbs up and applause for Suzy. Well, we've been doing this every day for 334 days. I'm kind of thinking about taking a vacation, and I don't know how I'm going to deal with that. If I'm going to have to pre-record or get some guest hosts or do it on the road from the motorhome, not sure. It might be a little spotty, but it's kind of time to get out, and we can at least go camping or something. Want to tell you guys real quickly that if you didn't make a comment, please make a comment in the comments section. Tomorrow, another red letter day, another great artist, the great Michael Mettler. And he's been called the Da Vinci of our time, and pretty amazing cat. So you don't want to miss that. That'll be tomorrow at noon, lunchtime in the East, noon Eastern. Also, want to remind you guys that we have a free gift for you, 97 amazing painting secrets from the world's best artists. Now, this is going away in about just a few days because we've had this one out there for a while. We're going to have a completely new free gift coming up. But if you haven't got this one, you can get it on DVD or digital, of course. And so check it out. The Plein Air Salon Art Competition is about over for the year. You have the end of February and then the 15th of March, the two last deadlines for the year to get entered. If you win in any of the 20 categories, you get entered into the national competition, and $30,000 in total prizes, $15,000 grand prize. And so go to pleinairsalon.com and make sure that you get your entry in. If you would do me a favor and follow me, it's Eric Rhoads on Instagram. That would be really terrific. And last but not least, Plein Air Live is coming up, and it's going to be phenomenal. I sent out an email yesterday about kind of my thinking on things and, you know, what we've been through in the last year and how it's been really tough for us to survive and tough for you guys to survive. And anyway, this is a great way for us to come together. It's Plein Air Live. It's landscape and plein air, of course. And so a lot of them are going to do studio, a lot of them are going to do plein air, and there's a lot of big names also to be announced, as if this isn't enough. I mean, this alone would blow everybody away, but we got some more big ones coming. So anyway, that's what's going on. Thank you for tuning in today. See you tomorrow at 12 noon. And also remind you today at 3 p.m., we have the great Chuck Marshall is going to be on. You don't want to miss that. And then tomorrow, Michael Mettler. So make sure you tune in. Tomorrow is going to be a big day. So thanks again, and we will see you tomorrow. God willing, tomorrow it will be day 335. I'm Eric Rhoads, publisher of Fine Art Connoisseur, Plein Air Magazine, and Streamline Art. Bye-bye.